We don't have a quorum. Yeah, we do have a quorum, 3 of us. I can count 1, 2, 3. We're good. So let's rock and roll. We did not. I'm gonna take this off. It's just me. Sometimes I make myself sick. We got together. Did not get together in October. We will have some significant items coming up here in the very near future. With that said, we do have the approval of the minutes from back in September. Thank you, Ms. D, for getting that taken care of. I would entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes as written.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Eric, we're going to go out of order here real quick. What do you have for us? Because I'm not sure what I'm going to say. Yeah.
My director's report real quickly. I'll just, primarily, we've got a few things done this month. We've got a lot of things coming up in the next 60 days, but I wanted to let the board know that the Lee Road Trail is open, officially opened on Monday, but had quite a few participants already on it. The Facebook account shows that a lot of people are excited about going out and utilizing it. Just a little under a mile if you do all the particular loops.
Yeah, right at, if you just do the one continuous loop, it's like 0.6, but if there's some interconnectedness to it. It's right at a mile. And I know Joe Murphy from the mayor's office, he's working. We've already talked during cross-country season, incorporate Fall Creek Valley to using, it is neat.
Nice.
It's just that extra component to it.
Yeah, yeah.
A quick question about that. Are pets allowed on that trail?
Yeah,
Leashed?
least, of course.
It's kind of like our park rules.
Yeah.
It is. We don't have any trash receptacles on it. We ask you to carry out what you carry in, so there are dumpsters in the park you can utilize if
We're used to Fort Bend. We ought to be able to do that.
yeah, most people are. The Lawrence Christmas is November the 28th. Starts roughly at 5 o'clock here at the Government Center with a parade. It's being done on Lawton Loop or on Civic Plaza this year. With that, there'll be music and food and social distancing, of course, but the skating rink will open that night. So that's something I wanted to mention, that we should have something online probably yet this week about the skating program, that it'll be 7 weekends running through January the 10th. We have skate rental, and it's just you'll be stamped or something, so you can come back during the day and skate. It's just one-time admission during the day. So,
And the stage is out there now. Will that be where that stage will be primarily, or our wagon, for lack of a term?
well, we'll put it up during the winter. We've got to try to get it indoors. Keep it.
But the ice rink will be down front of it, correct?
Correct, on the south end of the Civic Plaza.
Have you determined a cost for the rental?
I think we're looking at $10 a head, and that's these are 4-hour blocks. So goodness sakes, if you can't
Your
get
thing.
$10 worth at 4 hours.
Yeah.
There's something wrong there.
The master plan, Jeff and I had a meeting just this afternoon with Structure Point, and they're wrapping things up. And Jeff can elaborate on what he thinks, but I think they're bringing a lot of information to us, a lot of good information, some plan details that I think will help us out in the very near future, actually, some things that we've been discussing.
Are they gonna be able to come to one of these meetings? Or?
Yeah, what we'll do, though, we've got the committee will meet one more time, and then the draft will be sent to the committee, and then the committee, that draft will be then eligible for the Parks Board to look
And
at.
I would like when they do, and just to kind of jump ahead, we paid extra money, and in my opinion, we're definitely getting very professionally done. We are getting our dime's worth, and then to the point where it exhausts me. They've done an excellent job. I think it's in my years, 20 plus years, It's very professionally done. It's forward-thinking beyond just stick and ball vision. Phil Roth and his group there, they've done a great job. And like I said, it exhausts me, the effort they've put into it. And I would like to make sure when they do give a presentation that we have maybe, if at all possible, nothing else associated during that meeting. It's very visionary. Like I said, it goes, we spend a lot of time, and I'm definitely not anti-stick and ball and those type of things, but it's very long-term, especially when you consider the cultural campuses coming online and the like, and some other ideas the mayor has for parks and youth leagues and all that. It's kind of exciting. It is.
Well, it is exciting with the demographics. You know, we know that, that we expect the population to stay pretty stable here for a
Yep.
while. So, good.
The RFP for the catering, we had a meeting on that last week. It should be out by the end of this week, first of next week. We'll give that 2 weeks out on the market. Jeff developed the
Rubric.
rubric.
Until he didn't teach.
Rubric, right?
Educators, yeah, I used to Collier, the Mayor Collier looked at me, he goes, you just got out of teaching, come up with a rubric.
So we'll have that to judge the different components. And so hopefully by sometime in December, we'll have those back and have those selections made. As far as on the maintenance side, parks, everything's been winterized, all the irrigation systems and all the concessions and that sort of thing. Then lastly, the only thing I have is the budget. It has been, I don't think it's been put into the state system yet, but we're looking at a reduction on the general side of about $85,000. But an increase in our non-diverting of 6,000, so a net.
Where are we looking at,
1,000.
where are we looking to reduce in the general?
It was primarily in our contractual services.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
well, fortunately, the master plan was paid out of last year's.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I think that's all I've got, so I'd be happy to answer anything that we.
Well, I'll just kick around a couple things. This is for this group here real quick. We might need a special meeting in December, and that would pertain to our fee schedule, finalizing the fee schedule, be it the rental of the buildings, looking at the RFP for caterers, kind of give you a thumbnail sketch. We're looking at settling on 3. But when we get that final draft, we get to approve it. So you'll get a chance to chew on it, but we may need special meeting to settle up in our fee schedule, focusing on the catering for 2 facilities. So also, I'm working with Cathedral on their soccer agreements that do expire at the end of the year. Reached out to Athletic Director Rick Strife already on that. We do have a draft of that I will chew with him a little bit, and us folks, we will chew on it significantly. A couple other things here real quick, Eric, just to follow up on. Harmon Way is completely open and all its signage and everything.
Yes.
And it is. It's nice. Still think we need to have a Grand Prix there for money making. A couple things real quick, Eric. 2 things. I keep still getting, and I know money's tight, the issue of the fountain at Gin Park. And have we heard anything from our friends with Ultimate Tournaments and Monies?
Have not. I need to reach out. I didn't reach out to him this month, but I need.
I do not want to have to reach out a little more aggressively, but we might have to reach out more aggressively. And I am happy to say the HVAC does work at the Stair Center. D is comfortable. It definitely does work, and then some. I'm glad to hear. Is there anything else? I have nothing else. Do you have questions for Eric, Adam?
There might be, and again, determining from the engineering department, we've had a request from the Kopetskis who live north of Gin Park for a right of entry. They're building a structure on their property and need to access their, so we've got to find out if that's a feasibility or not. So there might be something coming to the board with regards to that.
Okay.
We won't do it if it's damaging to the facility or.
Right. How are we doing? Are folks still wanting to rent or rentals, all that? Are we still signing folks up?
You know, we're at 50%. Dean,
Okay.
we've had a few, quite a lot more in this last month than we anticipated. I think a lot of people are just
Okay.
doing it and stuff,
Right.
you know, and just paring their numbers down a little bit. So,
Okay, that's good.
and also I did want to mention Lee Road Park or Gin Park. We did authorize a purchase order to Reese Construction to. And it probably, they might do some work yet this fall, but complete exterior paint, there's a bunch of wood, soffit, and some window replacements they're going to do yet, hopefully this fall. If not, it'll be first in the spring. So
All right.
get that building, that should be about it there for the while.
Anything else? And just for the record, give a shout out to Ms. Munston for making eye contact with a cat for another 4 years, her reelection in the MSDLT school board.
Thank you.
Congratulations, we think.
I always say you made eye contact with a cat.
You know my number.
Yeah, there you go. We know where you live. Well, congrats. All right. I think Miss Judy thinks our board meeting is next Wednesday, so you might have to convey that. And next Wednesday, of course, is Veterans Day.
Just briefly, their addition onto the theater is 99% completed. They're pouring concrete today everywhere, so I assume that the concrete, all the infrastructure will be done by the end of this month.
And feel free to wander by Eric's. He has a bird's eye view in his office.
I had a bobcat right in my.
Yeah, so if you just
And
looking
then
for something to do.
We're still waiting for their release from the Department of Natural Resources regarding the windows on the communication
Okay.
visual arts building. So as soon as they get that done, then they'll be able to put the new windows in, but they're still doing some of the interior stuff in that.
Right. Okay, we are going to hold our friends from OYO feet to the fire for their end of the year report. So, like I said, you're crazy enough to do it. So, come on down.
We're glad to do it.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, good to see you
Hey,
again.
Michael.
Eric and Dina. Wendy, congratulations. Tom, great to see you again as well. As you know, I'm Michael DeSanto, and I've been involved with OIO for quite some time, but this show is not going to be mine tonight.
That's what I heard. Who did you? This is.
It's a great thing. But it is a pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be here tonight as the Oaklandon Youth Organization is about to embark on a new era, and which is going to be more vibrant and exciting than ever before for our league. As many of you know, I've been attending these presentations since 2008. I've even presented multiple of these reports. And on behalf of every family, player, coach, fan, board member, volunteer, OIO is most grateful for what you've done for our league, the remarkable commitment you've shown, and the efforts that you have done and what we've received from the City of Lawrence and the Parks and Recreation Department. So on behalf of all of those individuals I mentioned, the board members and volunteers in particular, but the families as well, I offer a very heartfelt thank you and appreciation for what you've done for OIO over these years. Earlier this year, when everything seemed so normal back in January and February, the OIO board leadership at the time began exploring what a successful transition and succession plan would look like for the organization that we were all so passionate about. We held comprehensive discussions about what it would look like, about the characteristics and the skills and the traits we believed were necessary to restore some of the shine and enthusiasm surrounding OIO. In defining our next generation of leadership, we definitively defined an individual who could execute with grace, lead with humility, plan with precision, motivate with compassion, and listen with clarity. We knew if we found the right person, who would be a consummate leader, Oio could and would rebound swiftly and convincingly. Tonight, I am here to announce that we have found the right person. This individual is a remarkable person on so many levels. A caring mom of 3 amazing kids and talented ball players at Oio, too. An incredibly devoted wife, a teacher of a middle school students right here in our community, a person who is committed to her Lawrence roots, a former Lawrence Central softball player, an Oio softball coach first, and now a baseball coach, and soon to be a travel coach of a baseball team. A board member who has improved every facet of Oio that she's touched, a friend to many, and now she's officially the president of the board of directors of Oio. By assuming this role, she has completely shattered the organization's glass ceiling by becoming our first ever female president in 46 years. And I can assure you, this is not the only accomplishment she will achieve leading our organization for the next several years. In 2017, when she came to OIO, my first interaction with this individual was on the softball field. We were coaching games on different teams at 12U softball. Her demeanor, her interactions, her ability to motivate and encourage and inspire were so convincing to me in a 2-hour game that at that point I said that individual is the future of OIO. About a year later, I shyly walked up and I shyly texted her and I said, hey, would you be interested in joining the board? It was all businesslike. It was just very factual. Join the board, we have opportunities for you, we think you'd be a great member and you might have a great future. About 6 to 8 months after joining the board, started to get to know the individual even a little bit better, and even a little bit more on a personal level as well. Started to get to know her family a little bit, and I started to understand just how compassionate she was and how much OIO was at the core of her heart in terms of everything that was important to her after her family and after her faith. To this day, she stepped in and filled multiple roles in crunch time situations, and she never flinched. She was an incredible leader then, and she's going to be an incredible leader going forward. So recently, I captured my thoughts about leadership, and when I reflected on these ideas, it became crystal clear it applied to OIO more than ever before, courtesy of our new and admirable leader. I want to share some of those thoughts I think are really important before I turn over the platform to her. Leadership is a powerful platform that carries extraordinary risk, reward, and great responsibility. The greatest leaders gracefully communicate effectively and complement the team for their wins and take direct and full responsibility for their losses. They listen, steward, protect, coach, mentor, and aren't above any organizational task, including putting up yellow caution tape every week at the park to keep us open. They dream, teach, inspire, encourage everyone, including old ancient dogs in the organization like myself. Appreciating their blessings each and every day, they unlock God-given potential in individuals and aspire to see people move from where they are to where they ought to be. Don't ever underestimate the stewardship of a powerful leader, because the power isn't used here as an overarching authority, but an ever-believing force that never gives up on developing individual talents and abilities. The team may lose, the team may win, but one thing is assured, regardless of the outcome, you can encounter a true leader and not walk away changed. And in the last 6 months, I am more of a changed individual at OIO than I have been at any point in my 17 years in the organization. At OIO, our volunteers and families are inspired today because we have found a leader and a mentor for the future who embodies the above and will knock down walls they never thought would be possible. So tonight, a new era begins, and I am honored to introduce to you a true leader, an incredible friend who will be truly leading by humbly showing the way. Brittany Anderson.
I prepared to just get yelled at. What year did you graduate from LC?
95.
God, I hate that. Show my age. Jeez, I'm an LC class of 81.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Belzer, the whole 9 yards. 95, Pete.
Feels like a very long time ago.
We had the same principal on our diplomas, though.
Oh, yeah?
Caroline?
Yes.
Yep.
Hannah? Yes.
Yeah, we had.
Same principal.
Yep.
It's very nice to meet you all. I'm Brittany, and hi. So I'm here to deliver our State of Oio tonight. Thank you so much for inviting me and welcoming me here, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to talk to all of you. This organization is very dear to me and important to me, and I call it my happy place. So you have a packet before you, and I won't bore you with every bit of it, but I have a few things just to point out. And just thank you, Michael, for the wonderful introduction. If anybody had told me 3 years ago I'd be doing what I was doing now, I wouldn't have believed you. I've been a mom of 3. I have 2 high schoolers and an elementary student. He's in 3rd grade, but I homeschooled them up till last year. This was their first year of school last year. So
Wow.
enter school in August.
Wow.
I'm home again in March, so it was a bit of a challenge. I went back to work for the first time in 15 years in the classroom. I teach at Holy Cross, teach in the middle school math. So been a little challenging in that regard, but I definitely enjoyed coaching. Coached at Lawrence Central, got to come back and coach the freshman team there 1 year, and found OYO when we moved here in 2017, and haven't left since. Sort of fell in love with it. So I'm very glad to have the opportunity to move up from commissioner to VP of travel to now president. So thank you so much for having me. So if we could look at your packet, the report overview is the first page, and you can kind of glance through what we're going to talk about tonight. I would like to thank you, I'm actually on page 4, for your support in these areas. We love the new playground. Thank you so much for your support and guidance through COVID. Certainly, that was unprecedented, something we had never dealt with, didn't know exactly what to do. And thank you guys so much for guiding us through that and, advising us on the best practices. We really appreciate the parking lot lines that have been painted for the cars in both lots. It has certainly streamlined our parking a bit. So thank you so much. You've also provided us the directional arrow stencils, which we painted on the ground, and didn't do a half bad job, I'd say. We've had some replacement signage throughout the park. We appreciate that. And then the weekly cutting of the grass and maintenance on the concession stand, we really appreciate as well. So thank you. So on page 5, a few of our successes this year, allow me to share. We were able to sustain our rec travel program all summer long. We weren't sure, they were kind of our guinea pigs. Could we get back out there? So come May, we put 7 teams on the baseball side and 3 teams on the softball side, and said, let's go, let's give it a shot. And they were able to put some tournaments together and some games, and had a very successful season. So then fast forward to fall ball, we thought, we were praying and hoping for 400. Just weren't sure if people were going to feel comfortable coming out, and with our assurances, they felt safe enough to say, let's try baseball, let's try softball. So we saw a 6% increase in our fall ball participation this year, which was terrific. Really happy about that. And overall, they were pretty happy with how we set that up. So we've had an improvement to our board of directors, including 6 new positions, which I'll sort of touch on later. Just a few of the other successes. We have our winter workouts is coming up. We've got 24% increase since compared to 2019 for last year, and we're hoping for even a greater participation.
Where do you guys conduct your winter workouts at?
Typically at Incrediplex.
Okay, that's
But
right.
they have not reopened, so
Right.
we're going to go to Athletic Revolution. It has a new name. I can't remember what the name of it is now, but some of our misses are laid out. It was mentioned on your minutes that we had a couple of visits from the Marion County Health Department. Even though we had our COVID plans in place, certainly you don't know who's going to show up till they show up. So we definitely, whatever they said, you need to do this, you need to do that, we definitely tried to comply with that. Some of the other misses, there's a house right next to the park that had a dog that's been roaming around, had a couple of incidences with that dog. And then our 2 All-Star tournaments were canceled this past summer, which was very disappointing, first time in a long time. So hoping to get those back strong this summer. So page 7 sort of outlines what Michael already talked about. So I'll just kind of fast forward to page 8, where it's laid out sort of some of the visions that I have for OYO. I've told my colleagues on the board that I have no intention of making it a one-woman show. I'm dependent absolutely on teamwork, and I want to leverage that to make the best experience possible for the kids at OYO. I love collaborating with other people and putting plans into action. I want to be a yes person, but I want to stay true to our OYO values. I want to have plans that stand the test of time, not necessarily temporary fixes, although I feel like that's what we've had to do with COVID, but more or less some of our investments and things of that, I want to make sure they will stand the test of time. And I want to offer the highest quality softball and baseball, whatever level the player wishes to play. I coach in the rec league, and my son plays there, my daughter plays there, and although they've had offers to go to travel teams, I just feel like our heart's in the rec league still because it's developmental and instructional, and that's just kind of what we're all about. My team last season, bunch of 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, didn't win a game all season.
But you had
They
a hell of a
had
time.
fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully they learned a lot and they worked as a team, so I will certainly hold them dear to me, even though we didn't take home any hardware this time. I plan to be a good steward of our assets and our financial obligations. Like I said, coaching is my passion, so my desire is to show that coaching is an absolute privilege, and I will never take it for granted. So I plan to continue to instruct and make it fun and give sound fundamentals along the way.
Is Miss Greasy still your treasurer?
Yes.
All her sons ran for me. I coached 38 years, and all their kids ran for me. And the last one was a better baseball player, but he came out and ran every fall, and was a heck of a swimmer, but they all ran for me at LN.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome. Terrific. If you look at page 9, you can see a few of the changes in our board. We have expanded a little bit. We have a new board structure here where we've moved a few of the existing positions around, and we have created 6 new positions, mainly under the travel circuit, so that we can best serve baseball and softball. That was my position before this, was VP of travel, and I oversaw baseball and softball. So in an effort to to build our travel program, I split those off, and we now have 9 executive board members. And under them, they have tournament training, development, and marketing people. I've moved our marketing position to under the presidency so that we can communicate well, and all the communications to the league, which has always been our strong suit, kind of stays at the top and stays uniform. So that just kind of outlines a few of our movements. And we currently have a near full board of 46 members, and we're just missing 2 positions right now. So when the new term began on November 1st, we were nearly full. So very excited about that. So you can kind of browse page 11, just kind of talks about returning board members and retiring members, and then I'll just draw your attention to the middle section. We have 18 new board members. I've been calling them our baby board because we have a lot of new faces and new people to train and hear great insight from, so we're really excited about that. My goal with the new board is to get to know every member. Many of them I've hand-chosen very carefully because of some of the same reasons Michael outlined, is you just see special things in people and you see that investment, and you want people that are invested and engaged. So, If you fast forward to the next couple of pages, page 14 talks about our partnership with you, the Parks Board and the City of Lawrence. We are up for our license agreement renewal with you next year, the end of next year, so we'll explore more of that renewal mid-year, I would say. A few of the items that you see on our radar, we can talk about in just a moment as we approach the end of the presentation. The next couple of pages talk about our park improvement. We are led by a hardworking, amazing Vice President of Grounds right now, Justin Sturm, and we've increased his grounds crew to 6 people so that we can continue to improve the park, keep it looking the best it can look, both structurally and aesthetically. So you can kind of look at some of the repairs that have been done in the last year. If you're on page 16 with me, you see our main focus this year has been on Field 1 and Field 13. We've got over 50 tons of dirt delivered to the park, and we're planning on going field by field and increasing the level of dirt in the infield because it needs it badly. So some of the additional repairs we've made are pitcher mounds. We've rebuilt those, worked on a little bit of the landscaping around the park, and we have rebuilt our sheds. So it's a couple of the improvements that have taken place. The next section outlines our financial summary. You can kind of browse through that. Page 18 shows our revenue, and page 19 shows our expenses for the year. And looking ahead to the fact that we canceled our spring season, we still have some credits available for that, and some sponsorships that will be they'll be sponsoring in the spring and didn't
I was
sponsor.
going to ask you, some notes here I made, interrupt you there a sec. Spring ball, a different world we live in, Hill, that's the way I can phrase it. How are sponsors, are they coming on board, sticking with OIO for the upcoming season?
Some of them kept a credit because they want to sponsor in the
Right,
spring.
right, okay,
So yes,
good.
many of them stayed. A couple of them, maybe they have asked for credit. Some of them
Okay.
donated whatever their
Right.
credits had been. And we're working on our ways and means right now, really
Okay.
driving corporate sponsorships and team sponsorships as well.
I mean, there are sports organizations, and the way this past year's gone, that like to see that last bar, it's in the green. That's, boy, not too many not-for-profits can say that, so high fives.
Yes, we're very happy about that. We still have a few things that we're working on, but hoping to finish strong. If you look at this section under engagement on page 24, this talked a little bit about COVID and its impact on our seasons.
Yeah.
So it's obviously been very impactful to every area of all of our lives. So it's been difficult. We lost our spring season. It was sort of an agonizing decision. We pushed it back to May, and then we made the decision to go ahead and cancel. Had to switch many hours where we could have been working on the park to prepare for receiving all the families for fall ball, getting the park ready, taping off particular areas for safety, things of that nature. I'm sure you've all seen the park or saw it during fall ball. It was very yellow, but most people did well and complied with all of our.
I know early on, I got a call or a parent that had been out there, they had asked me, and I go, when I went out there and I saw how you guys had it arranged out there, again, I'm not gonna worry about these people. I mean, a lot of caution tape went into that, but it worked.
Lots of Friday evenings of taping.
Yep.
It was totally worth it, and they sort of all got on board eventually. So, had to cancel our tournaments, like I said, but we're hoping to have those back again. Some of our umpires, we definitely saw a shortage in umpires this year because of COVID, whether they were students and parents didn't want them to come back to work, whether they were older and had health issues, and we even lost one of our longtime umpires due to COVID.
Well, I see your scheduling umpire chairperson is Frank Ample. I had him as a student when I started teaching way back. I'm showing my age now. I had him as a student when I taught at Ron College.
Okay.
And his wife I had at Lawrence North, so I'm showing small world.
Small world. It's
Yeah.
great to have that
Yeah.
list there so you can see all of our people.
Frank.
So flipping forward to Page 26, we send out a survey every spring and fall. Just kind of, it's important to us to know how our patrons feel about our program and give us feedback. So most of our strength certainly fell under the general infrastructure of OIO, how we have our OIO way, and we show care and concern. We have a great reputation, great communication. People felt safe to come play there, which was a huge one, and just timely notifications. Some of the areas of improvement that we were told in our feedback, again, goes with team balance. That's typically a tough one to overcome. But
To your I'm going to compliment, if you look at everything else here, team balance has been around ever since there's been youth sports leagues. Somebody's always going to feel sight. Everything else there, if you look, seems to be a byproduct of the times we're living in.
sure, absolutely.
They can control those things you can control.
Absolutely, and if you
Yeah.
flip to 28, those are the four declining results from last year, and certainly many of them did have a COVID impact of some sort. The ones that didn't stay committed were probably travel players of sorts or went on to other sports. We were certainly a bigger league this fall, so that's why you would have maybe
good sign.
seen the OYO way not as inherent on that ranking. And then our concession stands, we had to roll up our prices because of the coin shortage.
Ooh, good point. I forgot all about that.
And just in comparison to last fall ball season, although we offered an expanded fall ball season, we offered 18 games, never once got rained out. So people were getting a bit burned out.
I was going to say my grass was complaining, but you can make up for it. Real quick, and I'm a baseball freak, and when I played Little League and then played Legion Ball and all of that, travel baseball wasn't a big deal. What impact is travel baseball going to have on rec league, or if we have that issue with soccer even, what impact is travel going to have on rec baseball going forward as far as your numbers and providing opportunity, interest, and all of that?
Sure. My goal is to see 800 players in our spring's rec league,
Okay.
and 600 in our fall, and really about 120 in our travel.
Travel, okay,
So
good.
it's about an eighth of our
Okay.
largest season, which
That's good.
is a good chunk, but it certainly leaves most of the players in the
Okay.
rec league. So you can kind of look at the travel numbers on
Right, that's
pages
good.
29 and 30. Really proud of the travel teams, building great programs there. If you look ahead to the section about where it says by the numbers, you can see page 32 talks about our spring fees increased, fall balls revamped in 2020. Certainly, we haven't created our budget for the year.
That was going to lead me. Have you started registration yet? And what do you see your fees being going forward for the spring?
We have not opened our registration yet, and we certainly, once we look at our budget, can decide if we want to change our fees at this point, but we have not made that decision just yet. If you're looking at page 33, you see where our numbers would have been had the spring season happened. You see the number 715.
Pretty good.
That was who was registered in early March. So we still had a good bit of time before the season really went underway, as some of our older divisions registered. So we were trending to go really, really well this spring. So hoping for a good spring coming up. So talking about the future of OYO, certainly on page 36, want to continue the values that are most important to OYO, leading by example, keeping it a community-based organization for all opportunities, whether they want rec or travel or both, keeping true to our roots, creating those plans that stand the test of time, and then we have action plans in place for some of the key areas we want to improve. We want to have better commissioner training so that they can set that team balance and have that a little bit better. We want to create a progression of skills for our players so that they're moving through skills all the way from T-ball on up, so that there's more parity in the league and the teams don't pull away from one another so easily. And, again, my goal is at the bottom of 36, just talking about how many spring players, fall players, and full-time travel players we'd love to see for the coming year. The very last page, page 37, talks about some of the items that we have done. At the top, we have allocated resources to reconstructing one batting cage with a concrete foundation. We are completing our field improvements in phases. As I said, we're started with Field 1. We're working a little bit on Field 13 with the sod as well. We're repairing our storage sheds rather than replacing them, certainly less expensive that way. Improving our dugout roofs, and we are exploring a donation for having paved cart paths, which we would absolutely love to have at the park. Some of the areas we'd love to partner with you on and secure funding for if possible. We've included a picture of our dumpster. It's certainly an
Good-looking
eyesore.
dumpster. Good Lord.
Certainly an eyesore. We would love to have a new dumpster as soon as possible.
Who do you contract? Who, Eric, help?
It's,
Republic.
Is it,
yeah, you can tell they had a little fire in there.
Yeah.
man,
That's a mess.
yeah.
Which actually brings me to my main concern would be security and lighting around the park. I played co-ed softball for the first time this year, and when we finish up a 9 o'clock game at about 10:15 and turn off the lights, the park
Oh,
is
it's darker than the inside of a
just
boot,
black.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So certainly for the safety of our patrons that are there, and we would love to see more lighting around the park, some security cameras to monitor activities such as, fires being set in odd places. One of our other requests would perhaps be to have water lines installed at each area so we can wet the fields when they're very, very dry like they were in this fall, and electricity perhaps as well. And the paving the cart paths, we are exploring a donation for that, but it's certainly something we would love to see done. We have many of our paths that are still gravel paths.
Right.
Makes it hard to pull wagons and have wheelchairs and so forth. So just to bring as many people to the park as possible, if those were paved, it would be great.
Okay, real quick, it's always one of it's a pet peeve, and that didn't sound right. But what were your number of, if you know, the number of City of Lawrence participants compared to non-City of Lawrence participants? Michael?
We have that information because we gave it to the commission that, Parks Commission that, Eric's been part of. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I believe right now we're about 65-35, or 60-40, somewhere in that range, that are in Lawrence versus not.
And I get my big question, just because this is a feather in your cap here. Are you noticing any, because the more the merrier, are you noticing an uptick with the houses being built right there in McCordsville, uptick of folks coming in from there to play?
That is definitely our second largest area right now.
Okay.
Lawrence and Indianapolis in the 46236 and 46235 zip codes. We do have the 46055 zip code is right behind it.
Okay, I was thinking, okay. Eric, real quick, just to drill you with some questions out there. I've noticed it does get dark out there. Are there any form of security, lighting beyond maybe the shelter or around the concession stand?
There's lighting along the roadway.
Mm-hmm.
It's power and light. Those are leased from power and light. With that, if they're out, notify them.
And you're at their mercy.
To replace them. So we generally go out and check them every month or so to add to them. We are asking if they put in take the metal halide lights out, put LEDs in.
Right.
Some also, but those that are in the park now are actually leased for power.
And just tying that in, what type of, because you go to ask, the city or somebody for more money, is Veterans Park a security issue on a regular basis as far as vandalism and the like?
We've had a few break-ins out there.
And that's concession stand, it does not have an alarm system on it? It does have one, okay. I'm a big fan. That's a nice park. It's a great partnership we have. Additional lighting, I'd rather pay up front than have to constantly get gummed to death. We need to look at some lighting just for the added security out there, especially we're developing kids or the like, or they're building houses out there. I'm not saying McCordsville kids are bad, but as folks build, attractive nuisances become an issue, and the burning up of that's a good-looking trash dumpster.
One of our,
That needs to be addressed. Eric, what needs do you think a Veterans Park needs? When I say the park, what's this focus just on the baseball part of it?
The experts,
I didn't know if you noticed anything unique, like, say, if you take a look there, like the Wyatt water electrical outlets at Fields, how big a deal is that? And not doing them all at once, obviously.
No, back concession would be fairly easy because we do have this
Right.
stuff out. We've got a meter set for actually the hydrant that we have out there, so that one would be fairly easy, just to adapt and go off it.
Okay,
The front, the south diamond, a little tougher, we'd have to set another water meter
okay.
for seasonal meters.
I think that would,
Not possible, but wait, some
not
We need to
impossible.
be compliant with handicap accessibility.
That's to be my next question, yeah. Are those carts ADA? Cart paths, I'm sorry.
paved ones are, yeah.
Okay,
Not all paved. No, that's, again, something in the master plan.
right, that's matter, when that came up today, we were talking, and it's funny how our worlds converge. That was a big issue today we had, was connectivity within the park properties.
Oio remedies that by using your golf cart to move patrons around.
Okay,
We don't, that shouldn't be our only.
objective, yeah. Well, those seem to be some issues. I think it shouldn't cost us tons. How bad is the, I was looking at the other page there, the gutters, there you go. The add gutters to the front concession stand, what kind of issues is,
That's not, we've got, actually got a contractor that's
okay,
gonna have to look at that. I haven't.
all right. As we get closer to, we're gonna play baseball, you may not get started with spring ball till May, but we're gonna play baseball. The gods want them to. My Orioles are gonna, we're gonna be better again. I keep saying that every damn year. I think as we get closer to baseball season, I definitely like to see the security thing. To me is a big deal. Okay, that's a giant deal because there's too much invested out there to let it go astray. And the cart paths, we may not have a choice in that. So being mandated, it's not a terrible thing.
I know FC Pride has security on their building,
Okay,
fairly inexpensive operations. Might be something. Who's the alarm through? Is it through Nelson?
let's take a look at that.
See what we have. Even if it's
Okay. Well, the nice thing, looking at lists here, it look like these aren't eye-popping items, and your field survived pretty well this season.
they did.
That's good,
They really did.
because when it turned dry, it was just,
It was dry.
oh,
Adding dirt to it will help. It's supposed to raise each infield 2 inches, which will help get rid of the grass lips.
right,
Wow,
good,
so
good.
Looking forward to that.
Anything else, colleagues? Welcome aboard.
Thank you so
Tell
much.
you what I tell everybody else, head our youth leagues, sleep's overrated. So just tell yourself that. And you're a mom, so you're used to that. So welcome aboard. You got big shoes to fill. OYO folks they've been great. So welcome aboard.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Appreciate it.
Michael, what are you gonna do with all your free time?
I don't think I have any free.
Yeah, good. You get to take,
Keeping him busy.
yes, it's good.
Gonna
Keeps him
stay
out
on
of
the board.
trouble.
OIO has a legacy in our household.
Oh, God, yeah,
Our
yeah.
kids played out there when they were
Yeah.
little, so.
Perfect.
So those big shoes, but it's good shoes to fill. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Guys, real quick, we have here, you can yell at me for this one. The Fort Harrison Reuse Authority, I, like Miss Wendy, serve multiple hats. I am currently the treasurer of the Fort Harrison Reuse Authority. Exciting things coming out to the fort. I'll just leave it at that. But they have returned to the scene of the crime. Originally, the Sturt Center, which it wasn't the Sturt Center when it first opened, that's where the Reuse Authority originally was housed back in 1995. They've returned. They are in the East End where we were originally, when I was on that original board. And they've been there a month or so. We'll just leave it at that. And they're all moved in. Aletha Dunstan is the executive director. She's great. Heather Milliken, who's been around there a long time. is the administrative assistant. They'd be more than happy to have you all come in and say yo. But they've been operating in there. It's a year-to-year agreement to use the east end of the building. Current president of the board is Kyle Walker, Fine Lawrence North kid I had in class. He's president, and, well, I don't want to move him out if you guys say no to it, so I'm just gonna, they're there, so, and they're giving us a whopping $1. They have insurance. And Eric, anything else?
No, it's actually nice because of the development of the Civic Plaza.
Right.
Our campus, Aleth is very knowledgeable about those.
She's great. She's working on the master plan with us. She is a very valuable asset that we have, and she's very talented. And if you ever want to just talk planning and things like that, she'd be glad to hear your ideas. So I'll make a motion that since they're already there, we enter into a one-year agreement with Fort Harrison Reuse Authority to use the Starrett Center.
I can, we make the motion, whichever I need to do.
All right, there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, I'm not voting myself out of an office there. That's what I do. All right, anything else for good of the cause? The next big activity, guys, big heads up, we probably will have a special meeting for our fee schedule, which includes catering and/or the thingamajig cathedral agreement. Do come out to the winter Christmas holiday gala that will be coming up into November. It's Joe Murphy working the mayor's office and working with Eric have got some nice, pretty cool plans. So we have a skating rink. I think it'll be fun. All right, anything?
Good, skate.
Oh, hell, no, I got, Tim Harshberger would have a stroke. Because, I got $175,000 of metal in my back. He saw me in skate, he'd have stroke out there. All right, we're adjourned.